What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the White Hat Lane podcast. I think I've decided on the name White Hat Lane. Let me know what you guys think. Even though I'm not a Spurs fan, but I think I like that lane. I like that name. So this is actually like my third time recording this week, especially episode 2. Every time I recorded this week, something has went wrong. But there's so much football this week, so many good games. So I'm glad I can finally have a chance to discuss it and go through it with you guys. Okay, so let's start with the Champions League games. I want to start with the Champions League games. Start with the and then go through some transfers also, and also go through the Europa League games and give my predictions for the rest of the Champions League. Even though for the Champions League it's pretty simple. Like I think we all at this point are assuming Bayern is going to win, especially what they did to Barcelona. So I think to predict who wins the Champions League is pretty simple. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised with me saying that, but I think Bayern's going to win. Even though the Champions League has been unpredictable this year, I'm recording this right after Lyon just beat Manchester City. So anything can happen. Anything can happen. Leipzig beat Atletico Madrid. Atalanta almost beat PSG, but obviously PSG won that in the last minute. So anything can happen, but there's no other team except for PSG that stands a chance to beat Bayern. So that's going to be an interesting match. But real quick, I'm gonna go start from all the way back to see how we got here. So Barcelona played Napoli, and Barcelona beat Napoli 4-2 on aggregate. Messi was able to carry Barcelona for them to win that. Um, so Barcelona fans were feeling good going into the Bayern match. Vidal was feeling good going into the Bayern match. Vidal actually came out and said that Bayern is just Bayern is playing the best team in the world. That Bayern should be worried about Barcelona because all Bayern does is play teams from the Bundesliga, and he kind of insinuate that the Bundesliga was a farmers' league. So I think we all knew that Bayern was going to beat Barcelona, but because Bayern beat them 8-2, I was happy because Vidal should not have been talking like that. So before Bayern beat Chelsea, of course, since the last time I recorded, Bayern beat Chelsea 7-2 on aggregate, which is not as bad as Bayern beat Barcelona. Real Madrid versus Man City. I think my prediction was correct there. I predicted that Man City was going to hold on and win that match, and which they did. There's a lot of ramification that comes from that. A lot of news came out, but Zidane said he's going to stay, and he should stay. It should stay. Even though looking at the way Lyon beat Man City today, you could have said that Real Madrid should have done better against this Man City side. You could say that Real Madrid should have done better. So maybe there should be some blame that should be at Zidane, but I think it was more of individual errors, especially from Varane, than more of a tactical problem that on Zidane. Because that Real Madrid's team is pretty solid. Their back four is solid. Their goalkeeper is solid. Midfield is solid. Not as best as they were a couple of years back. But that front three, man, my goodness, what has happened to Eden Hazard? That front three, Benzema is the only one that is a consistent performer. And Real Madrid just spent 100 million on Eden Hazard, and he hasn't done anything all season. So I think that's going to be a big bust for them if Hazard can't be that that playmaker that they need. They need Hazard to be that playmaker. They don't need him to score a bunch of goals, but they need him to be that playmaker because they don't have any money. Real Madrid, I mean, no clubs have any money, but Real Madrid doesn't have any money, and they're trying to save their money so they can buy Mbappe in a couple of years or in a year. So they don't want to have to buy Mbappe and Haaland and also have to buy somebody else to play left wing, especially if Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo doesn't take the development leap that they need to. So I think Hazard is. I think Real Madrid is looking and they're kind of regretting buying Hazard right now. But it's only been one season. I know Luka Modric is for a season and Real Madrid wasn't that great, and he rebounded pretty well for him to end up winning the Ballon d'Or. So I don't think anybody's counting out Azad, but it kind of sucks that he hasn't been able to perform to his ability. But we'll see. So Juventus play Lyon, and Juventus won 2-1, but it was 2-2 in aggregate. So Ronaldo was out of the Champions League, and then a lot of ramifications came straight forward after that. Sarri got sacked like 12 hours afterwards, and Andrea Pirlo was named as the new manager for Juventus, and that's very interesting. That's very interesting. So a couple of things had to have happened for Pirlo to become the manager, because when Pirlo was appointed the U23 manager a week ago, he came out and said that there's no way that he can go from just retiring and go straight to managing Juventus first team. He said that he needed some time, but then a week later they appointed him the manager. So a lot of things is going on, and one of the things that's going on is I think the rumors that Juve offered Ronaldo to Barcelona and that Ronaldo is looking to join PSG. I think the rumors are true. I think Juventus is planning on going through a little rebuild, and they're trying to lessen the wage bill. So I think they're gonna get rid of a lot of players, and Ronaldo is gonna be the first one. But it's hard with this market for Ronaldo to go anywhere else unless they're planning on just not getting that big of a fee for him. Because realistic, like you would want at least 50 mil for Ronaldo, at least 50 mil. Because even though he's 34, 35, he's still a top 6, 7 player in the world. So you want that amount for him. But I don't see a club spending 50, 60 mil on Ronaldo at this stage of his career when he's only going to give you 2 more top seasons. So it'll be interesting to see where Ronaldo goes. Um, so Juventus is going through a rebuild with Andrea Pirlo, and they have to go through a rebuild. They have to give Pirlo the time. They have to give him at least 2 seasons before they like, okay, you're not achieving what we think you should achieve. You're gonna have to go. So because that would be a lot of pressure for Pirlo to come in, and you expect him to not only win the league, because they've won the league for the last 8, 9 years, but you expect him to win the Champions League or take you far in the Champions League. So it looks like they're gonna get rid of a lot of players, and they're just gonna build a team around Dybala. So we'll see how Juventus does, and we'll also see what Sarri does. I wonder what club is gonna offer Sarri. I think he's still gonna find a club, because the thing with Sarri is you need to back him 100%, back him 100%, let him play the style that he wants to play. And when you have a manager like that that is at a big club and big players, that's where the problems happens. Because really, holy shit, Sarri should have just said, "Hey, I'm gonna build this team around Ronaldo," kind of like Zidane built this team around Ronaldo when he came in. I'm gonna build this team around Ronaldo. I'm not necessarily worried about my tactics or the way I want to play. I'm just gonna build this team around Ronaldo because that will give me the greatest chance of winning. And Sarri didn't really do that. Sarri really didn't do that. So it'll be interesting to see what Pirlo does if Ronaldo does stay. So those are all the matches that happened before to where we got here. Where we had Atletico versus Leipzig. We had Lyon versus City. We have Bayern versus Munich. So those are the matches that happened this week, and I'm telling you, those matches were really fun. I really enjoyed watching so much football this week, and I'm glad that we only have a 2 or 3 weeks before we have to wait for the next season to start. Because football has been pretty good, pretty fun to watch. It's probably the only thing that's keeping me distracted from this whole COVID. Um, but so starting with Atletico Madrid and the Leipzig match. With that match, Atletico was the favorite going into it, and I think Atletico would have won if they just. I don't understand Diego Simeone sometimes. Like, I understand your tactics when you're playing a team that is greater than you, but when you're playing a team that is clearly inferior, which Red Bull is inferior than Atletico, you're gonna have to come out and attack. But they didn't. Um, he played his custom 4-4-2. They sat back. They were just waiting for Red Bulls to make a mistake, but they didn't. He had Diego Costa and Lorente up front, and Upamecano just bullied Diego Costa. I haven't seen anybody bully Diego Costa like that. Upamecano just bullied Diego Costa the entire match, and Leipzig won. Leipzig was attacking the entire match, and they totally deserved to win that match. They did. Um, um, Atletico didn't do anything until Yao Felix came on. João Felix came on, and he was the one that really changed the game for them. But which like I was saying this, a lot of people were asking me, how do you feel about João Felix? Because they spent 120 mil for him, and I was telling people that I don't think he's going to show his true talent in this Atletico side unless Diego Simeone changed the way that he plays. Because Feliz is an attacking player. He's an attacking player, and he's not going to play well on this side because they're so defensive and so sturdy. So I hope Felix goes somewhere else. I mean, he can. He just signed a 5-year contract. He's only on his second year. And the only thing that can happen is if Diego gets sacked, and I doubt that's gonna happen. Diego is Atletico Madrid, so we'll see what happens with Atletico Madrid. We'll see if Diego starts changing up his tactics a little bit more, especially when you're playing a team that you're better than. And I think that's why they keep finishing so low in La Liga, because they're gonna keep doing well in the knockout matches because you're always going to beat playing that style of football. You're going to be able to beat teams better than you, but teams that are not better than you have to actually attack, and it just didn't do that. It just didn't do that. I'm glad the American Tyler Adams scored the game winner. It'll be interesting to see how his career does. And I'm just happy for all the Americans playing in the Bundesliga or playing in outside of United States. It will be interesting to see how the United States team does in the next World Cup. I think the next World Cup is 2022, so in 2 years, almost a year. So with Gio Reyna, Pulisic, all those players, it will be interesting to see how we do, and I'm kind of looking forward to the World Cup because of that. But so we had Atalanta versus PSG, and I think this would have been a different game. I think Atalanta would have won this match if Ilicic was playing, because without Mbappe, when it was just Mbappe wasn't playing, Ilicic wasn't playing, Atalanta was up. The game didn't really change until Mbappe came on and created about 3 or 4 chances, or was a part of 3 or 4 chances. Neymar was obviously the best player in that game, but Mbappe just offers so much more that he was very pivotal. So hopefully Mbappe stays healthy going into the next round, and we get to see a good PSG, a full strength PSG side into the final rounds. But Atlanta, what a great story this year. I love the way they play football. I love the way pretty much everybody attacks. Their fullbacks, their center backs, they're up on the pitch. Everybody pretty much attacks. I love watching them play, and we'll see what they do next season. They're going to earn a lot of money from this Champions League. Hopefully they use that money to reinvest in the squad, and they sign some players. It looks like they're going to lose Zapata. It looks like some clubs are sniffing around for him, but I think they'll still be fine because they have Luis Muriel. He might take a bigger role in that team, but I think they'll definitely be fine going into next season. So it'll be interesting to see. Because with Lazio signing David Silva, Lazio had a pretty good season this year. With Lazio signing David Silva, the 4-horse race or 5-horse race in Serie A is actually pretty good. The top of the table is actually pretty good with Juventus, Roma, Inter Milan, Lazio, Atalanta, and I'm forgetting one team, Napoli. So Serie A is actually pretty fun to watch. I watched a lot of Serie A games this season. Depending on if Ronaldo stays, I think it'll be a very good fun watch next season also. So you guys should definitely check out and watch more Serie A matches if you're not already. They have a lot of quality teams that are doing pretty well in Europe. So I enjoy watching the Serie A, and we'll see how that league goes next season. We'll also see how Inter Milan does next season. Inter Milan is my pick to win the Europa League this season. I think they'll beat Shakhtar, and I think Sevilla is going to beat Manchester United, but I'm picking Manchester United to win because I really can't. I won't feel right not believing in my team, but I won't be surprised if Sevilla beats us. So those are the last 4 teams in the Europa League. We have Sevilla, Manchester United that are playing tomorrow, and Inter Milan and Shakhtar that are playing on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. I think the Sevilla match against Manchester United is going to be a pretty good match. It'll be interesting to see how Ole sets up the team. What I see Ole doing is playing a five back, and I don't want him to. Because usually anytime we play a good possession team, he plays a five back against them and he tries to hit them on the counter. But I mean, there was an excuse before when Pogba was out. We didn't have Bruno Fernandes. We didn't have that creative midfielder. But there's no excuse now, honestly. Like you have Pogba, you have Bruno Fernandes, you have a lethal front three. You have all your. I mean, the only person we're missing is Luke Shaw. So there's no excuse for us not to play our regular 4-2-3-1 formation going up against Sevilla and see if we're a good enough team to play. Because it's I don't think United fans wants to keep watching that defensive type of game. That's not the way United play. Even though we are United DNA is in counter attacking, but it's not in that way. Um, so I'm picking United to win, but I would not be surprised if Sevilla wins. Like I said, Inter Milan is going to be big shocked up. I want to see a United versus Inter Milan final in the Europa League. But as far as the Champions League goes, so we have Lyon playing Bayern, if I'm correct. Let me double check that. Lyon should be playing Bayern, and PSG should be playing Leipzig, Red Bull. Um, so as far as that goes, I Leon has had an amazing run so far. They've beaten Juve, they've beaten Man City. So we shouldn't count them out against Bayern, but I don't think anybody will suggest that this Leon team beats Bayern. I don't think anybody can suggest that's gonna happen. So it'll be interesting. But as far as Red Bull versus PSG, PSG should win that. It's two attacking sides playing against each other. PSG should win that, and especially if Mbappe is fully healthy again. I'm not sure what the deal with Di Maria is. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be fit. Is Verratti supposed to be back? Let me see. So if Verratti is back, Di Maria is back, it should be, let me not say an easy win, but PSG should definitely win that. It kind of sucks for Red Bull that, or RB, that Timo Werner didn't decide to stay and play for them. I don't understand that decision. I don't even understand that decision from a Chelsea standpoint. Because on a Timo standpoint, you would have went farther in the Champions League this year than you would go next year. I know Chelsea are investing. I know they're buying a lot of players, but I don't think they make it to the quarters next year. I don't think they make the top four in the Champions League next year at all. So I think Timo just missed an opportunity to make it this far in the Champions League and really raise the stock as a forward. Because I don't think Timo is a top five forward striker in the world. Um, but if you did something in the Champions League, I think his stock really would have went up, and we would be able to see what he can do against the big boys. But we'll see how it does, how he performs for Chelsea next season. We'll see. So like my prediction for the PSG versus Leipzig is PSG winning. I think it will be a close match, but it will be like a close 3-1 win for PSG. So I'm expecting a PSG versus a Bayern final, which will be a really great final in my opinion. I think it will be really good to watch. And hopefully all the PSG players are fully healthy for that final, so we can get a really good game. Um, but that Bayern versus Barcelona game, that was a rout. And the way Bayern plays is so fun. Like the way I think their defense is even funner to watch than the offense because they play that very high line. And the reason they Hansa Flick plays that high line is because you have Afonso Davis, you have David Alaba in that back line, and both of them are super quick. So even if teams are trying to play the ball over the top, you're not gonna beat Afonso Davis and David Alaba 1-on-1 in a foot race. And so he's able to get away with playing that very high line. So that gives that midfield with Goretzka and Kimmich or Goretzka and Thiago, whoever is in that midfield, they can just focus on pressing pretty high up because they can count on their defenders to help them cover behind them. So they don't have to worry about any pass and go, any ball going behind them as far as on the ground. Any pass that happens has to go over the top of them. So that just helps that game. It just simplifies that game a little bit. And it just makes Bayern very fun to watch. But that high line versus PSG could be exploited because if there's anybody that's just as fast as Alfonso Davis is Mbappe. So that would be very interesting to watch. I'm expecting those two teams to be in the final. Mbappe versus Alfonso Davis. I don't know if I mean it would be smart to put Mbappe on the left and get let Di Maria play on the right. Um, Play Choupo-Moting up top or Icardi up top and play Neymar kind of like a second striker role to where he has that free roaming number 10 role. The only problem with that is you have to play two defensive midfielders. You have to play Idrissa Guy and Verratti or Idrissa Guy and Andres Herrera or so that would be the way I would line up in order to be able to beat Bayern. Because Mbappe is not going against Kimmich or is going up against Pavard, two players that he's definitely faster than. And then Di Maria doesn't have to try to beat Alfonso Davis one on a foot race. He can just drop short, kind of like the way Messi play, and can just whip in those crosses or just find those passes over the top for Mbappe. Mbappe making those run behind. So that would be the way I would do it if I was Thomas Tuchel versus Bayern. I think that's the only way you can pretty much beat Bayern. But that would be very interesting to see. I think I pretty much covered all the Champions League matches and my predictions. The last thing that I want to go over is some transfer news. And the biggest transfer, as far as Manchester United's fan is concerned, is the Jadon Sancho transfer. So a lot of stuff is going on with Jadon Sancho. Um, I don't know. Like I didn't have a favorite team in Germany. I was kind of I like Bayern, I like Dortmund, but now I don't mess with Dortmund at all anymore because they just I have to understand their stance a little bit, but still, it's not like United is not saying that we're not going to give you the money. With COVID, a lot of teams lost a lot of revenue. United lost almost 60, 80 million revenue. So we don't have the money to go out for transfers like that. So we borrowed 140 mil from the bank, which is going to be our whole transfer budget, and we need to sign at least three players. So the problem that's going on right now is Dortmund wants 120 mil for Sancho. Fine. On the United standpoint, United is like, fine, that's fine, but we can't pay you 120 mil up front. So the United proposed, we'll pay you 60 mil this season, and then we'll pay the rest as we go in the next 3 years. But Dortmund is like, no, we want 90 mil now. So if we United has a 140 mil transfer budget and you spend 90 mil now, and you only have 50 mil left, and you still need to sign two players. We still need to sign an attacking player that can relieve Bruno. We still need to sign. We're still trying to sign a center back. So that's we still want to sign a CDM. So we're still trying to sign two or at least three more players, and we can't do that if we're spending 90 mil on Sancho in this year. So well, I think that deal is pretty much done. I don't see United unless United just says, you know what, we'll worry about the other two positions later next season or in January. Let's just go all out and get Sancho. We'll give you the 90 mil. Um, and Woodward might do that. He might do that because I haven't really heard any more news on United signing any other players. So Woodward might do that, but honestly, I wouldn't. If I was in Woodward's shoes, I would say no. I would go to. I would look at the three alternatives. I would look at Dembele. I would look at Zaha. I would look at Traore. You can get Dembele, Zaha, and Traore for 60 mil this season. You go to Barcelona and you tell them you give them 60 mil this season and you give them 20 mil next season and you for Dembele. They'll be like, all right, bet. You can definitely get Zaha for 40 mil this season. You can definitely get Traore for 60 mil this season. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't spend out. I wouldn't spend that money on Sancho, even though I think Sancho is better than all three of the players. I think Sancho and Dembele, when Dembele is fully healthy, I think they're on par. I think Dembele is just as good as Sancho when they're both fully healthy. I think Sancho is better than Zaha a little bit. He's a better creator, but I think Zaha is very underrated. Very, very underrated. I think Sancho is better than Traore for sure. Even though Traore is a wrecking ball, I think Sancho is just a little bit more of a creative player, and that's what United needs. Traore is more of a counter-attacking player, and United needs to get to a level to where they're not always relying on sitting back and counter-attacking teams. They have to be able to create for themselves, and that's why Sancho is such a big ad. But I think Dembele can create against a low block. I think Zaha can create against a low block. I'm not sure if Traore can. Traore needs a little bit of space. So I would definitely look at those three alternatives instead of just spending 90 mil on Sancho this season. I know a lot of United fans don't feel that way. I know a lot of United fans are just like, just pay the money, pay the money, pay the money. But we gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop doing that. Because it'll be the same United fans that are like, oh, we spent 80 mil on Maguire. Really, realistically, we shouldn't have spent more than 60 mil on Maguire. Um, we spent 50 million on Wan-Bissaka. Like a lot of the same United fans are complaining that we're overspending, but they're also the ones complaining that when we don't budge to these teams. So I'm all fine with Sancho not coming, especially with the way Greenwood is playing. I'm fine with Sancho not coming. I'll take Dembele because even though Dembele gets hurt a lot, if he gets hurt, Greenwood will play. So we're gonna be fine either way. So that's just the way I feel about the Jadon Sancho transfer to Manchester United. Um, but the problem that I see is that not only are United not going to sign Sancho, they're not going to sign any of the three alternatives that I just named. So we're not going to sign anybody at all, and that's just not going to be good going into next season because we really should be pushing for the title next season. But if we don't sign anybody at all, the most we can expect to win or to come in is third place, and we can't expect to go for an Champions League either. So we have like what 3 weeks left until October to make transfers. That gives us what 2 months. So I mean, there's still time. There's still time, but we got some work to do. Other transfers that has happened since the last time I was on here is like I said, David Silva is going to Lazio. I think that's a pretty good transfer. Um, David Silva, even though he's still pretty quick, I think with playing at Lazio with us in a slower league like the CRA is, I think he will still be able to continue um, playing at a high level. Um, I see that Arsenal signed, no, Southampton signed the French centre back. That's a pretty good deal for them, and that just remind me how stacked France is. Like France probably has three. Let me not use the word world class, but France probably has three quality players in each position. If we really look at it, as striker they have Mbappe. I mean they have Martial, they have Ben Yedder, they have Griezmann. Left wing they have Coleman. They have who else do they have in left wing? Mbappe can pretty much play left wing for them. Um, Tovan. They have a bunch of quality wingers. Midfields, they're stacking midfield. They're stacking defense. So France, I don't see anybody beating France um, in the Euros next year. I don't see anybody really beating them. So Matuidi is going to Inter Miami from Juve. Man City obviously signed. They signed. I think I covered that in the last podcast. They signed Nathan Ake and Torres from Valencia, if I'm correct. Chelsea is trying to sign Rice from West Ham. They bid 650 mil for him, but that was denied. And I wonder how much West Ham want for him for Rice, because at most you would spend on him is 80 mil at most. But you really can't spend 80 mil on him in this transfer market because of COVID. You don't have the funds, so we'll see. And it looks like they're signing Rice for him to play center back. I don't understand that at all. I don't understand that at all. Tottenham obviously signed Pierre from Southampton. Is it Holberg? I'm not sure how to say his last name. I'm not sure what he offers them that they don't already have, unless they're planning on moving on a couple of players, which it looks like they are. And Dembele is probably going to be leaving in the next year or so. So I'm not sure what Orberg is going to do that's going to take Tottenham to the next level. But he might just be a good quality player for them just to have that alternative. As far as Real Madrid is bringing Odegaard back. And it looks like they're bringing Daniel Ceballos back from Arsenal as well. Liverpool signed a backup left back. The Greek left back. I haven't seen too much about him, so I can't really say much. About him. But like Liverpool is trying in left back. They just have to have somebody back up Robertson. So that's a pretty good deal for them. Apart from that, not a lot of big moves have happened. We still haven't heard that Aubameyang is staying, but I think we're all expecting Aubameyang to stay at Arsenal, and Willian is going to Arsenal at also. I don't really understand that. I don't understand that move at all as far as Arsenal goes. I know Arsenal doesn't really have the funds, but I think Reece Nelson is more than a capable backup for Arsenal, unless they're planning on playing Willian over Pepe. And at this point, I think Pepe is better than Willian at this point. I think he is. So if Aubameyang is staying, I don't understand why they signed Willian, especially when they have Reece Nelson. So, but we'll see. And Reece Nelson, Jay Willock, Saka can also play as a winger. So Gabriel Martinelli is going to be back next season. So I don't understand why you signed Willian. You're giving him what, a 2-year, 3-year contract? Somebody that's 31 years old. I don't understand that signing at all. So that's pretty much it for transfers. I don't really see any other transfers. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and end the pod there. And I'll try to get these out a lot more. I want to get this out at least twice a week. And I would have been able to get 2 a week this if things didn't happen. Hopefully my mic is on. Yep, blue light mic is on. So I should be able to get this out today. And I'll be able to get one out maybe Sunday night or Monday. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you drop a like on this and you subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.